Don't try. I'm weak with words. I don't use really beautiful and sophisticated words. I can't. I tried, but I can't. Humor is easy for me. So play on your strength. Now, don't spoon feed your audience. What do I mean by spoon feeding your audience? Yes?
Leave something to imagination.
No, because yes, sir.
By spoon feeding means like if you tell something, you're explaining. Like
Thank you.
should they should only get to know what is it.
Thank you. Leave big part of your speech to the imagination of your audience. Let me give you an example of something you should avoid. So I went to the office. I walked into my bosses and I said, "I'm sorry I'm late." And my boss said, "Where have you been all day?" And I said, "It's been a very tough day and a lot of traffic." And he said, "Yeah, but I don't expect you to be late every single day." You see what I did? I said and he said and I said and he said. It's like I'm spoon feeding you. And this actually insults your audience. It's like you're telling your audience, "I know you don't get it, I have to explain it to you step by step." No, leave a big part of it to the imagination. So I walked into my office and I was talking to my boss. "I'm sorry I'm late today." "And where have you been all day?" "It's been very long and a lot of traffic, sir." "Yeah, but this is your excuse every single day." You see what I did? I acted my speech and I played on your intelligence that you will understand what happened. You're not kids. You know what's going on. Now, you entertain your audience either by storytelling or by humor or by another meme. That's when you move into the biggest part or the strongest part of your speech, which is the dramatizing. Now, if you are telling a story, if your speech is a series of story, the sad incident or the powerful incident should be toward the end, before the conclusion. And that's when you hit your audience's emotions. And that's when you put your biggest action. And you draw your audience in. And if you're a lady, you can fake cry. That's okay. I know you guys can do it. That's what I mean by a sad incident. Powerful phrases. If your speech continues some really powerful phrases that you wrote, you leave it before the conclusion. And that's when you hit the audience hard. Hit them with as loud voice as you can. Play on your audience's emotions. Now this is a bit tricky and could consider be a little bit of a cheating. If I know that most of my audiences are female, I can play on your emotions by telling a story about a lady who has been heartbroken, or a death incident, or a mom who lost her baby. Now all the ladies say, "Oh no, what happened?" Yes, I played on your emotions. If I gave the same thing to a bunch of men, so know your audience. And by knowing your audience, you can play on your audience emotions. You can know what triggered them, what makes them, I wouldn't say sad, but kind of drawn with you. You have a very powerful, topic or a really powerful message, but you need them to live. So what can you give them so hard that will make them say, "Yep, he's right. I never seen it this way, but yes, he's right." You know, when I told the Nasser story, and that was the dramatic point of my speech, I know that everybody have lost someone, either to drugs or to bad habits. It's something common that works with all of us. So while I'm telling the story, I know a lot of the audiences are thinking, "Yep, he's like my brother that we lost, or my friend, or a cousin, or something." So I played on my audience's emotion. Now, we reach to the conclusion. Keep in mind, you entertain your audiences, then you dramatize them. Now they're a bit sad and depressed. You cannot leave your audience on a sad note. And that's a lot of, it's a mistake that a lot of speakers actually fall into. I fell in that a lot of times. You always leave your audience on a high. Give them hope. And what do I mean by give them hope? Tell them something that they can do. You know, I can give a speech about world hunger in Africa, and I can give some really shocking examples. And then at the end I could say, ladies and gentlemen, all countries should unite and end this world hunger. Yeah, okay, they should unite, but what can you do about it? As a single person, you can't. But if I said, your words can change this entire world. You have a chance to say something that will uplift some. You will end up saying, me? Really? I can do it? You believe in yourself. It's something in your hand to do. So I'm giving you hope. As I said, leave them on a high spirit. Leave them on the fact that, this world is not a bad place after all. Yes, I might have told you a sad incident, but hey, this world is still a beautiful place. And you can make it a beautiful place. Ask them to do something. It's a lot more inspirational if I ask you to stand up and get up and do something about it. You feel motivated. Yes, this speaker wants me to do something. He's not just coming here, preach to me, informing me something and leaving. No, he's giving me something that I can do. Very important. Start and end your speech with a smile. How many times have you seen a speaker if that speaker is called on stage, he's coming like this? Are you fighting someone? Ladies and gentlemen, no. Your audience have to love you from the first minute you walked in to the minute you leave. Even if your topic is a bit sad and depressing, or it's not really a joyful topic, always start and at the end, back to your content share. Because the audience will remember the first minute you walked into the stage and the last minute you walked out. So, you wrote your speech. You had it down. You're comfortable with it. You're comfortable with the words. Now comes delivering the speech. Write it down word by word. You don't have to deliver it as it was written, but you have to write it. A lot of speakers, they think, okay, you know what, I'm going to write it as points. And on stage, I can make up my own words. Your audience can tell when you're making some stuff on the stage. And honestly, that's a bit insulting to the audience. If you come on the stage unprepared, making everything out of your head, your audience think, like, this guy didn't invest enough to prepare something for me. So write it down. You don't have to deliver it as it's written, but when you write it down, you're comfortable. Every time you're on stage and you lose where you are, you know exactly where that points into the speech. Rehearsal. Start rehearsing by yourself, in your bedroom, in front of a mirror, because you can see what your audience see. You might have a flaw in the way that you look, that you smile, your eye contact. That's when you pick the first flaws. Then rehearse in front of your best friend, or your husband, or your wife. It's one single person. Then do it in your Toastmaster club. Then do it in another Toastmaster club. And always pick a different club with different types of people. Because again, remember, your message has to be what? Universal. You could give a speech here and everybody gets. You go and give it to some other audience, nobody gets it. What's the point? And the more you rehearse, you're going to get evaluation. Ask everybody to evaluate you, and not just the DTMs or the experts. No, everybody. As I said, ask for help. In this life, nobody is supposed to make it on their own. And if you think, I'm strong enough, I can do it. No, you can't. I did not make it this far on my own. Always ask for help. If you know there is a really good speaker, go to him and say, this is my speech. Is there anything I can change? See, my weakness is words. When I write a speech, I write it with like very simple English. I went to more than one person and said, have a look at it. What can I change? And most of the catchphrases that I had in my speech are not even mine. Someone else said, change this word, change this phrase. Yes, the idea is mine, the stories are mine, the choice of word might be someone else. I know where my weaknesses are, and I know where my strengths. So if you know that there is something that you don't do very well, ask for help. And again, take every evaluation seriously. When you practice so many times, you're going to get a lot of evaluation. Lay all the evaluation on the table. And usually what we do when we get evaluation, we focus on what? The areas of improvement. And we forget what we did right. And the more we focus on the areas of improvement, just guess what happened? We might change something that destroys our strengths. You have to focus on both. Every evaluation I got, I found out that the majority of people says, we love the child who draws on the wall story. We love the scientist story. So I said, okay, you know what? These two stories will stay. I had another story in there that I had to take out because a lot of people did not get it. And I put the NASA story instead. And there's a very beautiful story. At one of the clubs I joined, I just called them and I said, I'm going to Las Vegas, can I come and practice my speech in front of you? They said, okay, fine. So I came in, this young lady who just joined Toastmasters 2 months ago, fresh new. She came up to me and said, Mohammed, can I evaluate you? My first thought in my mind was, you? Come on, like I've been a Toastmaster for 6 years. You've been a Toastmaster for 2 months. You want to evaluate me? But no, I never let that thought cross my mind. I said, you know what, fine. Yes, please evaluate me. And she was the reason that I took that story out. Because she pinpoints things which is, for example, that story would not be understood by people in the United States. Huh, I never thought of it that way. That story, you're telling it too fast. Huh, if I slow it down, I'll cross the time. Even though she just joined Toastmasters 2 months ago, take every evaluation seriously, no matter who's evaluating you. And lastly, your audience is number one. It's not about you. It's not about how you look. It's not about how you sound. It's not about if your joke is funny or not. It's about them. When I wrote my speech, there was a line. I thought to myself that the best line I've ever written in my life. I swear, like as soon as I wrote it, I was like, oh my God, great job, man. I cannot believe I wrote this. But every time I gave my speech in more than Toastmaster clubs, a lot of people said that it's either confusing, or I'm telling it too fast, or I'm hitting the audience too hard that they might not actually understand what I mean. And a lot of people said, you know what, take it out. I love the line. It's the best thing I've ever written in my life. But if the majority of my audience don't like it, then I'll take it out. I hated taking it out, but I had to. Because again, it's not about what you want to say. It's about what your audience want to hear. Yes, you have a message, and yes, you want to just give that message, but the media has to be acceptable by the audience. So always worry about what they want to hear. And last advice I would like to leave you with before I end, and I'm sorry if I'm taking too long. If you are thinking of competing in a Toastmaster event or in a contest, let me ask you why. Why are you enrolling yourself in a Toastmaster contest? When I joined Toastmaster back in 2009, and there was a district conference in Kuwait, back when we all were in one district. And I remember in the table topic contest, and the second place winner was from our district.
Yeah.
And the year after, in the area contest, he got third place. Second place on the district, the year after, in the area he got third place. He walked into the stage as soon as they announced his name. He walked into the stage. He shook the hand. He got the trophy. He walked back. There was a trash can. And in front of everybody, he threw the trophy in the trash can. And he left. And I asked after that, why did you do that? And he said what we all have heard before. The judges are biased. This is unfair. I'm second place in the district last year. I got third in the area. People just hate me. I have enemies who do not want me to succeed. Let me ask you this. Why did he compete? If you're competing for a trophy, it's a piece of glass. And you can buy one online. You should compete for a bigger reason. Every time I enroll myself in a contest, why? Because when you go from a club to an area to a division to a district, your audience gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you have a chance to give your message to as large of an audience as you can. If you watch my clip again, and as soon as they called my name at the beginning, before I even gave my speech, watch it again carefully, and you will see a smirk on my face before I even gave my speech. Why? Because I walked onto the stage and I saw 3,000 people. And I said to myself, this is it. My dream is already true. I get a chance to send my points and my message and my words to thousands. If I win, fine. If not, who cares? In fact, now because I'm the world champion, I'm not allowed to compete anymore. I'm banned from competing. And that actually hurts me a little bit. Because I would really wish to go through the journey all over again. But you still have that chance. And I hope you make the best out of it. Thank you for listening.